Alright guys, so today we got a couple of things on our plate, on our agenda that we gotta knock out. First of which, I want to recap yesterday and everything that went on with the Mr. Beast. Everything. I don't know how to describe it. The riddle, the challenge, the ups and downs, the everything that went on. Without further ado, let's get into the recap when it comes to everything involving with the Mr. Beast riddles yesterday, because there was a lot going on with it. First up, yesterday at about 3 o'clock, we got a tweet and a YouTube video from Mr. Beast himself. The tweet being pretty much a bunch of stuff about Riddle being announced 4 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to get a night's sleep. There's a Riddle video out, and the Riddle video out that he posted was this video. Solve this riddle for $100,000. A lot of this video was important information later on for us to be using, and I'll point those out as we go along. This poster wasn't useful that I recall. This poster wasn't useful. Neither was that one.
I don't even want to spoil it. You're going to be doing a lot of crazy things. But see this vase? I'm going to push it.
I don't remember what this was for, but pretty much the main gist of this video was that we were given guidelines and general nuances for the riddle itself so that we were able to work on it further. Like, this was another hint actually for us later about cookies, about getting another Twitter account. I don't remember if this was relevant. I think it was. I want to say it was because it was Carl.
Anyways, come over here.
This was relevant. This was a solution to another one of our phone calls and actually progressing throughout the riddle.
All right, let's go outside. Hey, Chris.
This was another hint. This entire video is pretty much full of hints, and it helps get us from several steps to another and giving us guide and direction along the way. So after this video, we are then posted into step 1. Step 1 was a pretty short video. It's just
the world's hardest riddle. In the description, there is 10 links. 9 of them don't work, 1 of them do. Find the one that works, and that'll take you to step 2. And while you're doing that, I might as well just let you know, too, that if you're not subscribed to this channel, you might regret that if you win. So I would hit subscribe if I were you.
So that was pretty much the first step that we were given out of 26 total. It was a lot of steps, and a lot of the people that were active and a part of working on the entire project were collected in Discords. Twitter wasn't necessarily as used, but there were a lot of Discord and Slack groups that were extremely quintessential and be able to get from early or to get to later points. So as we progressed further throughout the riddle, we went from step 1, step 2, which then led us to this link, which led us to it was just a bunch of further links to another video similar to step 1 and step 2. So it led us to step 3, which was the first actual, like, you need to not just scan through and look for whatever you need in the video. For the majority of this video, it was pretty much just to weed out anybody who wasn't going to be trying very hard, because it was just Mr. Beast eating cereal for the majority of it. Except for about this part, when you get to about 6 minutes in.
If you look in the bottom left corner of the screen, you'll see a URL. It's only going to be there for
There's the URL.
All right, it's gone. Going back to cereal eating. Good luck.
And that YouTube link would then lead us on to step 4. And as you just heard, in the video, there is a bunch of Morse code collections. And pretty much what happened with Morse code is you tracked down the Morse code and you translate it all, and it gave you a site. So the Morse code from step 4 would then lead you on to a site that was quintessential. And it would lead you to this. It would lead you to the registration, which was your big first turning point. It was like your first question asked. Your name, your email, your confirmation email, country of residence, because it was only available in certain countries. And if you were 13 or older, you were able to compete in the contest. And then this further led you on to this page, which was like your main point. It was Mr. Phone, which is the main point that you were able to get from different steps. And the first thing that you were left with during the contest was this. It was a voicemail from Mr. Beast.
Welcome to step 8. What can you put 100 million of in your friend's backyard? Also, Yoda is very cute.
That was our next clue. It was a pretty easy clue, all things considered. Step 8, Yoda, Orbeez. Okay, well, what was in the original video that had Yoda and Orbeez? Let's go back. I was able to get to this point on my own. I didn't need any help until this point. We got led to an Instagram link, and because you're a smart little boy and you have an Instagram link, You go to the phone and you go, okay, is it related to the phone? Yes, it is. There's an Instagram link within the phone that leads you to Mr. Beast's following. And then if you go and actually check who is following, you see a post and an account from Baby Yoda Riddles, which only has one post of a cute Baby Yoda. But pretty much it led you to this link that is qrjustgettingstarted.com, which then led you to this page, which was a miserable pile of shit. It's a bunch of QR codes. This was miserable for most people. If you go to Mr. Beast's Twitter, sounds like a lot of you gave up on the endless wall of QR code steps. This shit was miserable. This was miserable because the site didn't load for a while. It was just an endless wall of QR codes that led to nothing. Eventually somebody came up with an in-Chrome extension for running a script that would actually just run and test all the QR codes, so people eventually got past it. It was a pain in the ass for about an hour or two. But luckily, the QR code script ended up being fast enough that it just worked out in the end. After you get past the QR code, you are led back to your phone. You are led back to your phone, in which you are presented with this video on your Mr. Beast phone, the Mr. Riddle phone. It leads you back to your phone, and this is the video.
Congratulations, you made it to step 10. Here's a cookie.
So then this, as convoluted as it may seem, because you were paying attention in this video,
that's Yoda. I'm gonna take these orders.
you see the cookie, and you go, okay, where was a cookie?
Oh, you're eating cookies?
And the answer is Chandler has a Twitter hat with him eating a cookie. I will admit, this is a very straightforward hint. So all you gotta do is you go to Chandler's Twitter, and just like with Mr. Beast, you go to his following, and you see that there's an account called Mr. Cookie is here, obviously the one that would lead you to it. And you go to Mr. Cookie is here, and there's only a single link, which then led you back to your phone. Oh, that's right. It unlocked the dictionary in your phone, and it also sent you a text from Mr. Beast. And the text from Mr. Beast count to the 69th entry in the dictionary. Why do you ask? I don't know. So this was a pain in the ass. People ran a script for this because they didn't want to count to 6969, because holy fuck, who wants to do that? And eventually people counted to 6969, and I did not count because I'm a lazy bitch, and I'm not going to count to 7,000 words. And the word was cub. So then you text cub to Mr. Beast, and you get your fourth code. And you're on, I think, step 12 at this point. Or step 13, where he texts you the goddamn Jungle Book. From this point out, when people were solving the riddle from this point out, it was all collected in Discords. And this shit became real confusing real fast because there was a lot of information. There was a ton of information available to you. So then after Jungle Book, I don't remember how we got to this point, but you called this number on the Mr. Beast phone.
Well, well, well. You are doing good. Keep up the good work. Who do you think is cooler? Chris or me?
Which led you to that call. Pretty random, but that's fine. So from that point, you are led to a website that ended up being mrriddle.com//apex. And it led you to this video. I don't remember who that is. I think that's Mr. Beast's brother. You fact check me on that later. Plus Carl equals Wraith. So this stumped people for a minute. I will admit, people were kind of flying through steps 8 to 12 up until this point. Like, they got through it so fast that it was confusing. So from there, you were led to a link that is called mrriddle.com/Wraith has too much to say, and it led you to this.
Now.
So this was a fill in the blank.
I understand
because
now.
this is an Apex Legends.
They used
This
these
entire
charge
thing was an
towers to
Apex
power the
Legends ad.
island for their-
So the answer was you fill in the quote, which was experiment.
I understand now.
And then it led you to the next page. Does Chris blank? And the answer, because it's a running gag in all of the Mr. Beast videos, is moisturize. And you hit enter, and it just gave you that link, and it sent you back to the phone. And from here, you were sent a text from Mr. Beast, yet again, called Code Free Store. And then in the phone, I don't remember how people got to this point. It was a crazed mess, but it was called 237 or 2739553 436. And it gave you this.
Press 1 to continue. Press 2 to hang up.
So that call, if you pressed 1 to continue, it gave you the lore of almost every character in the game. It was truly, truly useless. And it gave you, if you click 2, it gives you have a new contact, and it didn't use anything, it didn't do anything productive for you. If you called the number again, and you
Press
went
1
and you
to
typed
continue.
in
Press 2 to hang up.
3378673,
The Merry Wives of Windsor.
you were led to
by
Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare
Shakespeare doesn't
and
say anything
Sir
useful, it's just the
Hugh
fact that it's
Evans.
Shakespeare. If you go to
Sir
Mr.
Hugh,
Riddle
persuade me not.
/Shakespeare, because that actually makes a lot of sense, you're led to this. You're led to this big word search. At this point in time, during our quest in the riddle, we had gotten ahead of people in all of the discords onto the crossword, because we knew immediately what to look for. Because we knew that it would be subscribed to Mr. Beast. Because it made the most sense.
Yes.
Which turns to be true.
Yes.
And it leads you to another video. Thank you. 588.
Mr. Riddle, please hold.
Yes, it was Mr. Riddle giving you a text code. And so you give him this code, and then you were given what might be my most hated part of the entire riddle. Carl's favorite game. You click, you're given this. That looks harmless. I fear one day soon I'm gonna wake up in a cold sweat. And the cold sweat's not gonna be anything. It's just gonna be an image. And it's going to be this image. It's Flappy Bird with Carl. So is the goal to beat the game? Are you supposed to beat Flappy Bird? Or Flappy Carl? And the answer is yes. Yes, you are. You're supposed to reach a score of 100. The issue with that is by the time that we got to this step, or by the time everyone got to this step, the servers didn't work. MrRiddle.com was struggling the entire day because there were thousands of people scanning QR codes and playing Flappy Bird. I was ahead of literally everybody but the people that solved it at this point. But they all passed because they had the script. They had the script of Flappy Bird. Mine wouldn't work. I couldn't get my script to load. I do it right now. I didn't get this far last night. I didn't. This shit was miserable. Oh my god. Ouch. Oh. I'm gonna lose my mind. Spacebar's working now though. Dub. Ouch. I hit a wall. I didn't see a wall. Oh, I can't see it. Very cool. Ouch. Very cool. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Beast. With the servers working, it's bearable. But for a solid hour to 2, it did not work. But pretty much how it works is you're given an error, but the idea is that if you can see, there are coordinates. There are coordinates to your next clue. And the coordinates, if you copy pasted them, it led you to the Grand Canyon. I actually have never gotten past this point. I don't remember what the links were to get past this point, because at this point I had gotten stuck and I had been following in chat Fire Monkey, his friend, and the guy who won. And then you were led to this website. This was like the final countdown website. This is step 24. I was terrified of seeing this post on Twitter because we were so close. We were so close. We just get past Flappy Bird and it's over. All you have to do is get 69. I will say this is really fucking loud. This is murdering my ears. Jesus Christ. Why does it get louder? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The goal is to get 69 seconds. There we go. And we're led onto the next link, We're on the last step. This is actually my last key code. I assume one of these links works, or there's hidden elements that I'm just not seeing. I truly don't know what is done after step 24. Apparently it leads you here, which then we have our key codes, which was C, Q, 7, Q, I think L, D, which then you were given the success. And that was it. That was the entire riddle. It was done in under 8 hours. Literally in under 8 hours. It was fucking crazy.